Good morning, my Real News Midday TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning, teen killed in St. Mary. An 18-year-old was shot and killed in Enfield, St. Mary on Saturday, a week after another man was killed in the community. Reports indicate that the teen, Sheldon J. Williams, of a Juno Penn address, was walking along the roadway in Enfield around 9:30 p.m. on Saturday night when, upon reaching a lane in the community, a group of armed men reportedly approached him and opened fire. Reports are that Williams ran into a nearby premises where he collapsed. Residents, upon hearing the gunshots, called the police. When the police arrived, Williams was found suffering from gunshot wounds all over his body. He was taken to the Anota Bay Hospital where he was pronounced dead. A motive for his killing is not known. Security authorities probing possible human smuggling operation. The Jamaican authorities are investigating what appears to be a smuggling operation involving Indian nationals passing through Jamaica. Immigration authorities denied entry to 218 Indian foreigners, mostly Indian nationals, who arrived on the charter flight on Friday. The news sources say the flight transited through Dubai and then made a stop in the Egyptian capital, Cairo, where an Uzbek national was picked up before heading to Jamaica. Another citizen of Uzbekistan, who had also arrived on a previous flight and was initially landed, later had his landing revoked and detained when the authorities started investigating the Indian charter flight. Based on the news checks, the Uzbek national is of interest to security and government officials in the United States. The aircraft, a white and blue Airbus A340, registered in Germany, has also been impounded and remains on the tarmac at the Kingston Norman Manley International Airport. Law enforcement sources told the news that the charter airline did not state it was arriving in Jamaica on Friday, neither was a passenger manifest sent ahead of its arrival, as is required. Nevertheless, civil aviation officials allowed the aircraft to land. Checks revealed that the charter had no arrangement to take the passengers back to their destination, which arose the suspicion of authorities. The news has learned that the passengers, although denied entry, were permitted to go to the Rock Hotel in downtown Kingston, where they are officially under police guard. When the news pressed the sources on why they were allowed to go to the hotel, the news was told that Jamaica has no detention center at the airport and no space in its remand centers for so many people. The sources added that the passengers were actually booked to stay at the hotel even though they had not paid for the rooms, and that was why officials allowed them to go there. However, when the news visited downtown Kingston, several dozen persons believed to be passengers from the charter flight were observed walking around, shopping, buying food, taking pictures on the waterfront, and generally enjoying the scenery. There were reports that some may have left the hotel entirely. Ministry of Labor to convene meeting today to avert a strike at the JPS. The Ministry of Labor has scheduled a meeting for Monday to avert a possible strike by employees of Jamaica Public Service. This comes in response to a 72-hour strike notice being served on the management of the Light and Power Company. The National Workers Union served the notice on behalf of 30 employees. The union argued that despite the promises by the energy company's management, an agreement relating to the engagement of the 30 employees is yet to come into effect. But in a swift response to the notice, Labor Minister Pernell Charles Jr. said the government was prepared to prevent an escalation of the dispute. The minister said Monday's meeting will focus on crafting a settlement of the dispute. According to the NWU, JPS had agreed to convert the terms of 30 employees from contract workers to permanent staff beginning March 1. But the union says to date there has been no movement on the proposed agreement. The NWU claims that the company acted unethically and breached the basic principles of industrial relations. JPS, responding in a statement on Sunday morning, insisted that it is committed to continuing the process of converting contract employees to permanent status in keeping with its agreement with the union. The company added that the transitions in the proposed agreement are being done over a 3-year period starting in 2023 and are on track for completion by 2025. JTA calls for government to find the funds for more guidance counselors, social workers, renews the call for school bus program. In an effort to quell violence in schools and among students, the Jamaica Teachers Association is asking the government to dig deeper into the public purse to employ more guidance counselors and the social workers. JTA President Leighton Johnson was addressing yesterday's JTA Education Week church service at the Church of Transfiguration in Meadowbrook, St. Andrew. Prioritizing education goes beyond publicizing the amount of money allocated to the sector. It requires a careful analysis and accurate advice to ensure that adequate attention is given to areas of concern, the JTA president said during his address to those seated in the church and others viewing online. We therefore call on the government to demonstrate its willingness to address this major issue of crime and violence that has the potential to cripple our nation by increasing the budgetary allocations to the Ministry of Education and Youth to facilitate the employment of additional guidance counselors and the social workers that are required to implement and undertake the home-based and community-based interventions, Johnson said. These interventions are necessary to save our children, our communities, and our nation. Our journey toward educational inquiry is not without its challenges. One of the most pressing issues we face is the impact of violence on education. Violence, whether in schools or within our communities, poses a significant barrier to learning and to national development. It instills a fear, disrupts the classrooms and the communities, it hinders the academic progress of our students, and stagnates growth, he said. Johnson encouraged the educators to continue to work tirelessly to create a safe and nurturing environment where every child and every citizen feels valued, protected, and will have access to world-class educational opportunities. Johnson's call comes just weeks after students of corporate-area schools were involved in a public brawl at a bus stop on Malines Road in St. Andrew. He urged the establishment of a national school bus program as he indicated that data has revealed that many of the feuds that occur outside school gates start on what he described as party buses. There is the need for a multi-sectorial, multi-ministerial approach to include the Ministry of Transport, Ministry of Finance, and the Ministry of Education to the full implementation of a national school bus program. Fully functional state-operated school bus programs are integral to the educational systems in other jurisdictions that we are often compared with. It is therefore urgent for all the stakeholders to demand from the state a functional school bus system that will improve the manner in which our students commute to and from school and help in securing the safety of our children, Johnson said. We urge the security forces to be consistent in their vigilance in monitoring the buses and other means of transportation, as well as the transport centers and the town centers, as well as the bus stops, and apply the necessary sanctions for breaches identified, he said. The officiating minister at the service, Reverend Craig Mears, also touched on the multi-school incident. He said it is fear of losing territory that makes students start violent interactions. Everybody's talking about love. I saw them love the one girl. What happened has nothing to do with love. It was about territory, Mears said. He suggested that it was important to be aware of what was at the heart of the matter in order to be able to address it. He said education should ultimately change the attitudes of not just the children and the parents, but of the society. He also said there is need for love, and sometimes love is hard. It is to love people in a way that when you are loving them, it hurts you even to do so, but you do it because you want to be in communion with God. He encouraged the students to pray about their struggles and the challenges. Education Week 2024 is being celebrated under the theme Preserving Our Legacy, Prioritizing Access and Equity in Education. It forms a part of Jamaica's Child Month activities.